everyone, welcome back to Global Student Diaries. I'm your host Zad, and I have a special guest with me today.
That's right, I'm Alex.
Today we're talking about something a little different, a little punchy, you could say. We're diving into the world of combat sports here in Taiwan, but from our perspective as foreigners living here.
Definitely. We're going to share our own stories, some things we've learned, and why we think the combat sports scene here is actually pretty special.
And yeah, it sounds like a niche topic, but honestly, it's been such a huge part of our experience here. So if you've ever been curious about martial arts or just looking for a cool way to connect with culture, stick around.
Let's get into it. Alright Zad, so you've been here a few years now. When you first moved, was getting into combat sports even on your radar? Or were you just expecting, night markets and bubble tea like the rest of us?
Honestly, I was totally that guy. My image of Taiwan was 90% food and 10% amazing scenery. The last thing I expected was to find a thriving MMA scene. But then a buddy dragged me to the gym in Taipei just to check it out, and my mind was blown. It was packed.
Same thing happened to me. I think a lot of people don't realize that while Taiwan has this deep history with traditional stuff, like you see people doing Tai Chi in the park at 6 a.m., which is awesome, the real explosion has been in modern sports like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai. It's grown like crazy in the last 10 years.
For sure. And for me, the biggest surprise wasn't the quality of the training, which is great, but the community. I walked into my first BJJ class as a total newbie foreigner, barely able to say hi in Chinese, and everyone was so welcoming. It wasn't like, oh, here's an outsider. It was just another person who wants to learn.
Yeah, I've felt that exact same vibe. There's this unspoken respect. If you're willing to show up, sweat, and be humble, you're accepted. I've trained with locals, with guys from Brazil, the US, Japan. It's this little international family, and the local guys, they really appreciate when you take it seriously. It shows respect for their art and their gym.
Totally. And speaking of respect, that's something I had to really wrap my head around at first. Back home in some gyms, it's all about the toughest, strongest, a bit of an ego thing. But here, the focus is much more on technique. It's all precision, control, and discipline.
Oh man, I had that same challenge. I remember my first Muay Thai class, I was just swinging for the fences, trying to show how hard I could kick. And this tiny Taiwanese coach just calmly corrected my form, showing me how to generate power from my hips, not just my muscles. It was humbling. It's less about brute force and more about the craft.
Exactly. And it creates a much better training environment. It's tough, don't get me wrong, but it's supportive toughness, Everyone's there to get better together.
For sure. And you see that ethos carry over into the competitions too. Taiwan hosts some pretty serious tournaments. I'm talking BJJ Opens, MMA fights, and you get fighters from all over Asia, even further, coming to compete. The level is high, but the atmosphere is still respectful. It's intense, but not overly aggressive.
Yeah, the fight culture here is just healthier, I think. It's about self-improvement. And the coolest part, it's getting huge with younger people. You're starting to see new generation of Taiwanese fighters getting recognized internationally. And it's so inspiring to watch. It feels like we're getting a front row seat to see something that's just taking off.
It really does. And honestly, for us as foreigners, it's become this amazing way to connect with the local culture beyond the surface level. It's not about the language or where you're from. It's about your passion for the sport, that shared struggle, and that mutual respect. It's a universal language.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Alex. Who knew that getting choked out by a local would be the key to feeling more at home in a new country?
Absolutely.
So, to wrap it all up, the combat scene in Taiwan is really cool mix of deep-rooted tradition and modern world-class training. Whether it's BJJ, Muay Thai, MMA, or even traditional Kung Fu, the community is unbelievably welcoming, especially for foreigners who are keen to learn.
If you're a student here, or even just visiting for a while, and you're into martial arts, or just want a new way to stay active and meet amazing people, you have to give it a try. It's one of the best decisions I've made since moving here.
Same. And it keeps you fit. It challenges your mind, and it connects you to the people in a way the local night market or Genju Naicha can't just do it. Trust me on this one.
And next time, we're going to get more specific. We'll break down some of our favorite gyms in Taipei and Taichung, what the costs are like, and how to survive your first class. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you have any questions or concerns about my experience, drop them in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Catch you next time.